You might be looking at the market right now, brother, and you might be a little bit scared of what's to come. But I want to give you at the end of this video top 3 coins that I'm buying. But more overly than that, just a message on where I see we are at right now in this cryptocurrency market. Because as you look at the screen right now on the top 100 coins, it's very difficult if you are the paycheck to paycheck investor. But I want to give you a roadmap on how you can still play this cryptocurrency bull run to hit your goals. Now, all of our goals are different. I don't want to get into that too much, but if your goals are to do substantially well, you just need to be buying the right altcoins and selling at the right time. And you do not have to time it anywhere near perfectly. Because, again, you look at the market over the last week to the last 3 to 4 weeks, it's a little bit shaky. But I want to promise you something. If you're in the game and you understand bear and bull cycles, again, the last bull run I lost everything because I didn't understand this was what was happening, just to take profits and shave profits and buy top altcoins. And you look at this and you're like, shaky. This is the top 100. Well, this is actually the top gaming coins. Last 7 days, you know, there's some of these coins 15, 20%. There is coins that are definitely up and down, but you must be in a position to hodl through this market. If you're just trying to buy and make money tomorrow, it never works. And that just comes down to this little nugget up here. So I just want to be clear. This is where money is made. You're buying at the lows, or you're shaking out. There's 2 different kinds of investors. You buy at lows and you accumulate top coins, or you're shaking out and you're constantly losing the market and you waste 3 to 4 years of your life and you have to work that day job like forever. It's just not a good way to go down. So I get it. It's hard to have conviction when things are down. So here's an example on Solana. Everybody loved Solana here. Everybody loved Solana saying we're going to $1,000 or whatever. This was the next coin. But nobody loved Solana here. FTX crashed. Everything was crashing. Bitcoin was crashing. All these scams, Celsius, everything was crashing. But these were the best times to buy. Now, I'm not saying $149 on a Solana is a bad play, but if we're being honest, the 20 to 50x, the 10x might even be out of play. So all you need to do is, if you're looking for an extra 20 to 30x, you need to find this coin, but a different coin, right? Because if your goals are 20 to 50x, use Solana, ride it for a 5 to 8x, and then get the F. I'll talk about the coins at the end of this video, but it really just comes down to buying fear and selling greed. This was fear. New altcoin came to the market and I did this terribly. I was the guy that was buying up here and depositing in Celsius. So had some good plays, but again, bear and bull cycles, that's all you really need to know, because the truth is you can buy pretty much anything as long as it's not scam coin and they have a good team. Hype is what you need in some of these smaller cap gems in the gaming and AI, and especially memes. And if you buy them when they're new or when fear is here, you have to be able to sell when greed. Because if you're buying greed and selling fear, what happens is, let's just say you have 10k. This 10k, it goes to 8k very fast. It might go to 5k on a shitcoin tomorrow. That's the problem, because now you have to play catch up and get an extra 5k back in the market just to equal your initial investment. Any 5k investment right here turned into 50k. Any 5k investment right here turned into God knows 500k. That's the difference. Now, you need to find the coins, but you just need to understand that. I'm not telling you Solana is a good play, etc. It's a good play for me because I've got substantial amounts of money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, QNT, Illumium, Solana, etc. But if you have 10k or less, Solana might not be the play for you. So we'll talk about that, but it's just understanding where we are in the market, because it all comes down to this little nugget here. This is Bitcoin's chart. Now, if we could go back in a time machine and buy Bitcoin at 50 or so cents, you're probably not watching this video because you're probably a multi-millionaire. If you sell the peaks, bought back in the lows, you sell the peaks, that's all you need to do. But for being honest, you're buying Bitcoin at 62k. It's a good long-term hodl for 10, 20, 30 years, but you're not going to get rich off Bitcoin with under 10 grand. So what we do know with 99% certainty over the long term is Bitcoin's going to be around for the long term. I'll give you a quick example. I'm having a big issue with my bank account right now, and this really got me more bullish on cryptocurrency. I'm in Thailand obviously right now, and I'm just sending payments, and I have to keep phoning up my bank, and my bank keeps blocking my payments. I'm having all these issues, which is good. Fraud prevention. They're trying to keep me accountable and like, hey, is Jake being scammed? Like, how's he been in Thailand for so long? It doesn't make sense. That is good. But it's very, very annoying if I'm having to phone the bank every single day. For example, I have to get my girlfriend right now to transfer money because I'm having big issues with just taking out like $1,000, $5,000, whatever, or £500 should I say. And it's just a big problem. So this made me more bullish on long-term BTC. But what you want to do is you want to ride small coins to give you that kind of BTC returns like back in the day. So we know Bitcoin's going to be around probably forever, and we know there's probably going to be another bull run by 2025. We can almost guarantee that. So if you know that, you're going to be fine. But it's about not being shaken out when this shit happens. If you're shaken out when this shit happens and you're constantly buying and selling, it is a risky game because you're constantly going to have to keep funneling new money, and you're constantly going to be selling and buying. It's just a big disaster. So what we do know is shorter term, especially right now, Bitcoin controls the market. So if she nukes down to 55k, it's a big problem if you can't get this shit sorted, because what will happen is our altcoins are going to get thrashed. Very few altcoins are going to survive if Bitcoin goes to 55k. Not survived as if they're going to go down to zero. What I mean is they're going to go down 30, 40, 50, some of these meme coins 60%, right? And if you're not prepared to stomach that, you have a big problem. So the good news is, if you're constantly DCing in, you get to DCA down, and it just becomes a beautiful journey as if you're constantly dipping. It's kind of like me in HBAR, because then we see HBAR for tomorrow at a better price. So you need to take advantage, or again, you're going to be sold out your position. So for me, I learned in the last bull run a very important lesson, and it was just to keep DCing in and get rid of this. But if you're constantly DCing in and DCing out, like I keep saying in this channel, you're going to be shaken out. So if you can handle the storm, it's an easy game. If you cannot, it's a tough ride of emotions and self-doubt, because you are going to doubt yourself. You're going to let your girlfriend or your family members, or maybe your son if you're older, they're going to come in and say, really, is this it, Dad? Is this really the way out for financial freedom for us? And they're going to give you self-doubt. In the last bull run, my mum and dad were constantly just trying to get me out of cryptocurrency. And I wish they did, because we were really talking about at the peak, and it would have saved me a lot of money. But again, I told them to buy at the lows, and they never listened. They're only interested in buying at the peak. And that's the big problem. If you buy at the peak, you make no effing money. So where exactly are we in the market? I always say this, and this is a good lesson. If in doubt, zoom out. So what we've calculated right here, there's a Twitter account, I forget his name, Time and Cycles, but what we're really looking at is, here's the last kind of bull runs of the 2017 run, give or take 1,000 or so days. Then we had the bear market, we had the peak of about 20k, and then we had the peak of 69k, and we are constantly, every 4 years when the BTC halving comes, we go up. That's what we're banking on. I don't think this is going to be around forever, because eventually Bitcoin will just be so high, altcoins are going to be crazy, there's going to be a lot more regulations. But what we can say for this last bull run, or at least what I believe in, is we have one final run at this. Now, what this guy's predicting, give or take, is about 160k BTC. I'll be probably taking profits heavily around about 100, and I'll be taking profits massively at 120. I'll probably be fully out the market by this take, let alone my altcoin. So if you compare this to 2021's run, which you can see here, we are literally at 2020, right? The best time to buy. That's when I was buying Bitcoin at like 19, 20, even 17k. That's when I was buying Ethereum at 400, 500, 600 bucks. That's where we are right now. If we follow this 4-year cycle, and I do think we're still going to follow this cycle to be somewhat perfect, but we don't need to be exact. So we are still somewhat early if you compare this. Now, if you don't believe in the 4-year cycles, firstly, I don't know why you wouldn't, because you just need to look at graphs like this to really see where we are in the market. But if you're not here for 160k, that's fine. Sell at 80k, sell at 85k, sell at 90k. And what I really mean by that is your altcoins. So whatever that is in comparison to your Solanas or your Renders, etc., that's when you take profits. But just use this to zoom out when we're on these kind of shaky downward actions, sideways actions. But if you're here to make money for 2025, keep working that day job, keep hodling strong, and keep using that extra income you have. Maybe miss the dinner, miss the new car you want to buy, and just put it back in cryptocurrency. That's just what I'm doing right now. I am all in this game, but you must be following this. Altcoins. For sub 10k, I always say this, just skip Bitcoin. Maybe if it's your first time in cryptocurrency, buy $100 worth of Coinbase, buy some Ethereum, get your feet wet, and then start looking at altcoins that make sense for you, because you're not going to get rich off this with under sub 10k. If you just want to do well and get a 3 to 5x, yeah, buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, play your first cycle. But if you want to take full advantage of this, you have to look at altcoins. Yes, Ethereum is an altcoin, but the market cap is so effing huge. You're not going to get 20k, you're not going to get 50k like some people are going to say. People were saying in the last bull run, and I was waiting for a 10k Ethereum. Guess what? Never happened. I rode it all the way down. I made a 10x, and I rode it all the way down. So remember the picks I'm going to give you. They're here for 2025, but I'm not opposed to rolling over profits once BTC starts to move again. Because also when we look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, and again, this is good until it's not, but so far so good. What we are seeing is just buy. Basic, not a fire sale, but we're just buy, accumulate. And this is great. Even if we go down lower, again, use this on your altcoins. Understand that. And then we come on to the crypto fear and greed, and we're seeing right now, we are a little bit greedy, but this will probably go down, depends what Bitcoin does tomorrow. But this is a good time to be starting to DCA if this starts to go down. When we were at maximum extreme greed, like last month when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, you can play the swing trade kind of game where you're taking profits and you buy back in lower. For me personally, I like to do that a little bit, but more overly, I'm just DCAing for 2025. That's all I'm really doing. I'm not trying to play this too cute. I know where my end goal is, and that's this number right here. Again, I'm not opposed to rolling over profits. If Bitcoin starts to move again and some of my altcoins start to go 10x, 20x, I'll take that initial capital, I'll bank some to cash, maybe bank some long-term Bitcoin for 2025, and then I'll look at other altcoins that I was maybe interested in and seeing if they haven't moved yet, and then I'll start to funnel that again. Because the picks I'm going to give you today, they're not 100x picks. That might piss you off because you need this to happen, but I can show you in an easier way how you can get 100x picks with like 2 to 3 positions. So you need 100x plays if you've got a small amount of money, but you can go down on lower market caps and you can buy that 10x, even the Solana, if that still does a 10x, even the render that's already done the 10x, and you can get out and you can do that again. So for example, you take the 1k or so, you ride it up to 8, 9, 10k, because you're not going to time this perfectly, and now you have 9, 8k, and then you look for that same position again, and now you've got 80, 85k, give or take, without trying to time it too perfectly. And that's how you get the 100x with 2 to 3 picks, rather than investing in a pre-sale, which I'm not opposed to doing, by the way, but you can do this in safer ways. So the other way, and I always say this, and you won't like this, get more money at your job. And that's a sad reality if you are a small investor and you're living paycheck to paycheck. There's only 2 ways you can really do this. You can do this, which is risky, or you can do this, is what we're trying to do, or you do this. You need to get more money. It's as simple as that. So my goal with these picks I'll give you today is literally to funnel them back into short-term pumps or buy late 2025. So if they short-term pump 5 to 10x, I'll take a little bit out and I'll roll over to other positions like we always say, or long-term, if they go down, sideways kind of action, I'm here for 2025 because I can somewhat guarantee these safe picks, again, we're in cryptocurrency, will be higher prices than they are right now in 2025. So if you have this mindset, you cannot lose. It's literally that simple. You only lose if you cannot stomach 30% drops overnight, and that might be 60% if you're in lower caps. It just depends what Bitcoin is doing at the current time of recording. So the first pick I'll give you is Cify. Now, I love Cify for a couple of reasons. Number one, their website visitors are massively growing, and these guys are the best Web3 gaming IDOs with Cify. So moreover, if you don't like pre-sales and you're a little bit too risky, you can invest in Cify that literally back these pre-sales that will be around for long term. So you don't have to take the risk of some of these pre-sales flopping, although some of them do very, very well. You can see the total raised, etc. But if you don't want to invest in single pre-sales, you can invest in an ecosystem of guys in the gaming space that host pre-sales. It's more like a safer pick, but it won't give you that 100x returns, if that makes sense. So these guys are backed by huge, huge players. And really why I like them is we use the Gordon Gauge indicator here, and we're seeing a bunch of DCAs right now. And this is pretty much worked out perfectly for, Cify so openly. So for example, you DCA here, and you had a nice peak of, give or take, a 23x. It did tell you to take out profits before that, and then you read it again. So right now we're seeing a DCA, which ticks the box for me. If you look at long-term on Cify, like literally long-term all time, it had a run in 2021, and it's starting to move, give or take, in the last year or so. You're already up a nice 2 to 3 to 4x if you timed it perfectly. But again, you would take profits in this, and then you might get back in, or you might look over at the next kind of position. So Cify I really, really like, and I really believe in, pre-sales. But if you don't want to touch pre-sales, you look at an ecosystem of a platform with 600k monthly users at the time of recording that fund pre-sales. Does that make sense? Because you don't get the 100x returns with this. You might still get a 10 to 20x. You might get even higher. Just depends how the next bull run goes with Bitcoin. But you're more safe with this position. Now, again, take profits on the way out. Render is still a big believer in render, although I missed out on the 50 or so cents. But right now, you can see we're very, very much pumping, and this could be a nice little entry right here, sub $10. So render is another coin I'm looking at. And again, for me, this is a $45 token, so it's only a 4.5x at the current time of recording. It can go way beyond that, but again, I'm just using this to roll over. The whole thing with render, it kind of pisses me off a little bit if you were watching the channel back in the days. This is where I should have bought. I was very, very open about it. I bought, give or take, more about $2 to kind of $4, and now I'm pretty much buying again at sub $10. I think it's still a great play, but it's not going to give you that 100x. And the last pick I'll give you, some of you guys will definitely hate this, but it's Cify coin. The reason I'm in Cify coin right now is because, firstly, They're the stable infrastructure that's fast, secure, and affordable. They're one of the most scalable ecosystems I can see. You can see their comparison compared to Solana. The problem with Solana is, yes, it's a great ecosystem. It has a high market cap, but it's very, very slow. AVAX, again, Ethereum is like off the scale here, but these are long-term blue chips. Sui, for example, is a smaller market cap, but you can just see the time to fatality is just so much faster than all these other ecosystems, etc. So I really like Sui, but you've probably been watching my DeFi pools if you've been I've channeled your last month or so. And the reason I'm holding Sui is because I can get crazy yields with not too much risk in coins that I can believe in. So for example, Sui, right now you can see my APYs here. I've not got much in, but I've got, give or take, what's that, 6, maybe 10k or so here. And I'm pretty much earning about $70 to $100 per day, just depending on the yield. So I'm accumulating longer term Sui bags, even if we go down. So I don't really have to invest in Sui anymore because I'm getting free Sui coins every single day. Now, if you don't like DeFi tools, again, you just invest in Sui coin and just put it on your cold storage wallet or your exchanges. But what I like to do is I like to take advantage of this in the safest way possible to accumulate more Sui coins for free. So that's the reason why I've started to buy, give or take, 10k worth of Sui recently. And again, nobody else will show you this. Like all these other YouTubers will just say, yeah, I'm buying this. But you can see here, these are my active pools. I'll just refresh this just to show you that I'm in the game with you guys. Again, if you don't understand Sui and this kind of turbo finance platform, just buy the Sui coin and play this up, give or take a $4 to $5 kind of dollars. But you can see here, I've not got the confirmation of a DCA plus yet, but we are pretty much, if we look at this top here, local top should I say, we're down 50%. So buying here, it's still okay, but buying here with that $10,000, I am getting double the Sui coins for a better 2025. And again, I'm playing the whole yield thing. You can take profits over here. I can claim these rewards, which I'll do pretty much after the gym like I do every single day. And then I can either bank that, go and spend it in the real world, or I can just keep compounding this to get more yield. So again, those are kind of 3 picks I would play. There's many other picks. You guys know my H-bar positions, my QNT positions, which is lagging right now, even my Illumium positions. But these are 3 altcoins I think are going to be here for 2025. Sui is definitely more riskier. Cify is definitely more riskier, but I can almost guarantee they're going to be higher by 2025. I would love to know, before we sign this video off, what coins you're holding if you had to pick a top 3 for your initial investment by 2025. But again, short-term pumps, take your profits out and roll over to the next position, because if you look at the market right now, there is 2.4 million plus cryptos. Again, it's a lot of scams, a lot of hype in the market, but you are rewarded for being early. As long as you can take profits and sort this little monkey mind that we all have with cryptocurrency investing, because it is about money, you're going to be absolutely fine. Peace, take care, God love you.